Hi, this is CJ from RazorTracker.com and the Get Tracking Network. What I wanted to do today is give you a little brief overview of the new portal and in the Lender Outlook system. So what we're going to do is go to press login here. Our name and password are already going to be saved in here. You're going to type yours in, and it's going to load you into what they call the new dashboard. The dashboard here is a little different than on the old classic system. You'll notice there's no map that displays immediately to show your asset location, but that's not a problem at all. All you would do is press vehicles here, and it's going to load you into that map. And you're going to want to give it a second. Anytime you kind of see these little dots coming up here on the top, it's just loading the information. So you want to try to give it the time that it needs to get that done and stop displaying those dots, or else you might notice that the screen will flicker a little bit as it tries to pull up information. But what we've got here is I've got 4 devices in this account, and I'm going to show you them real quick. You'll notice that these two are pretty close together. What happens whenever I press satellite is it will join those two together because they're so close. You can still click on them, you can zoom into them, or I'll take it back to the map, and there it goes. And so you can click individually on those devices. So we've got one here that's not named. It's got 15 satellites and a little high on the cell signal. This one here is my trailer. It's got 9 satellites and it's about 80 on the cell signal. This one back here in the garage is going to be 2014 Razor, and this one up here is going to be my 2018 Razor. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to satellite mode on this and take a look at them. Alright, so we're going to take this 2018, we're going to open this up, and you're going to notice some familiar options here. You've got your locate vehicle. Now you can edit properties straight from this panel, as well as the repossession, which kind of has a neat feature that you can use. So say if you want your spouse or a friend to know where you're at, maybe they're coming out there to ride with you, you can set them up as a repossession agent. Now this repossession, it doesn't go to anybody, nothing automatically online, no actual agents. You set the person up with phone number and email who you want to get a map of this vehicle's location. So this could be, like I said, your riding buddy, your spouse, your parents, anybody you want. And I'll show you that here shortly. But we're just going to go to edit properties here real fast. And this is where you can change the name of your vehicle and add any kind of pertinent information. This information is really just for yourself. We don't use it typically if there's a theft and you're calling us. The police don't really need this information. They just want to know the address of where it's at. And most times you need to fill out a police report before the police will actively go after anything. So you come up with a stolen asset. The first thing you need to do is dial 911, get the police on the phone, and see what their procedures are, because each station is going to be a little different. So we're going to cancel that. I wanted to show you this details page here, and we're going to click on details, and this is going to load the same kind of information. It's going to have name, vehicle's name, if you put in the state, year, make and model, but it's going to show the address, the last address that it's at. You can see it on a map here. You can't click this map or anything like that, but you can zoom into the actual location of where the device is at. We'll go back. If you wanted to see the history of this device, you can go here to the Histories tab and click it. And so now we've got a history of the device. You got time and dates and what the events were. You may know that with these devices, they do go into sleep mode. So if your number 1 is the last event to take place, which this went to sleep yesterday at 10 o'clock at night. So their GPS signal and radio signals are actually turned off right now. So if I tried to send a locate request to it, it would go ignored because it's currently in sleep mode. It's preserving the battery, but upon motion or vibration, that's when it would wake up. So what you can do here is if you wanted to kind of see a cookie trail, I can go back to the date range. Let's go back, we'll go back 1 week. And we're going to change this here to 100 check-ins. 1 week. All right. So now we've gone back 100 check-ins to 11/9. That's 72 of them. Let's see if it adds a few more. But now what I can do is I can go scroll up here to the top, and I can automatically select all these events, and I can have these placed on a map here. So we click this little map symbol, pin drop to the right, and we've got one check-in that's kind of off here out in the ocean. That's because it didn't have GPS signal. And so we're going to zoom in here, and we're going to see, I got some errant ones right there, that last week we went riding with some friends, and this is kind of the signals that it had sent in. So we've got our house up here, we drove down here, and you can kind of see a history of where you went to and where the device was at on these trails. So that's just kind of your history page. If you click on locations, it may take a minute to load, but this is going to be your geofences. Now this is where you can assign a geofence to the vehicle, and I can show you this. We'll click edit, and it loads up this page, and this is where you would assign this geofence to it. And I'll go through you here shortly with one and show you how it's done. Validation report, payment reminders, airtime plans, those aren't going to say anything. Actions, these are actions you can send the device when it's awake, like locate now, set speed alert, get fastest speeds of the day, and so on. You can play with those as you wish. You can go up here to the right hand corner and press edit. It's just going to take you to the edit page again. So we'll go down. I'll show you this repossession feature real fast here, and it may take a minute to get everything to load. So we press repossessions. And right now I've already got one outstanding order for repossession. This was just me playing with it. It says canceled. I can click over here to the right and delete it. Ask me if I want to delete the repossession. We'll go ahead and say yes. So now it's gone. But what we can do is when we're back on the details page, we can go to details. We can take a look at the map. And it's going to take a minute to load in there. We're going to click on that device, and we're going to press repossession. Okay, so I've got two agents on here, which is just me playing. You can delete both these off there, or you can just click on one of them. I'm going to say this one because it's got my name, my email address, and phone number already in there. And I'm just going to say add. Okay, so down here at the bottom center of the screen it says repossession created successfully. So whenever I go back here, it shows it. I can click actions, and I can click edit, delete, cancel here, and we updated the information. It says agent updated successfully. So now we can kind of close out of here. And what this is going to do is send us an email and a text message with a link to a Google Map overlay so that our riding buddy can find us on the trail. You know, a spouse, if you're going to be gone for a while and they just might want to know where your location's at, they can go. So we're going to check our email here, and sometimes these go into people's spam folders. So I got two of these, one from when I first was playing with it and one a little bit ago. What you can do here is you can actually just click on this link up here. We're going to move it to our inbox, and we're going to take a look there. And so basically it just says that this Polaris RZR is, there's a repossession order for it. Download the picture. And we're going to say locate vehicle. And what this is going to do is just take us to a Google Map overlay. And what it has there is the vehicle on a map, and you can see here all I can do is locate now. There's no other features that this allows me to get into. So your riding buddy can get this on his phone. Your spouse can get it on their phone, or just they can load through the email, and they can click in here and zoom in and see where you're at. And you can also do a satellite mode by satellite view as well. I can locate now. This device is offline right now, so it's not going to load anything, and it should say it come back unsuccessful since the vehicle is asleep in my garage. But if you were moving, you would notice this little green dot updates, you know, whichever direction you're going. If you load into full screen, you can change it to satellite view and then load back out. And there you go. And that's pretty much it. They can't log in and change anything. Here's the message whenever I pressed unable to locate this vehicle. The pin on the map shows the last known location of the vehicle. The reason it says that is because my vehicle's asleep in my garage again, and it's not able to accept that command. But if it was awake, it would just say successful down at the bottom and update the newest location. So that's kind of the repossession feature. This can be done through a phone. Like I said, it sends a text message, and they can just click it. It'll load into a Google Map just like this, or through the email, which loads into this Google Map on a web page. So there you go. If you have a trailer, one of the trailer trackers or anything like that, you can go here to activate your trailer into active track mode. And what you would do is click this blue add button and wait for everything to load up here. Okay, so your trailer tracker right here, this is my Razor demo trailer. I'm going to click it, I'm going to add it over here, and now that it's over here, I can go down and click it to select it. And what I want to do is I want to select by event. So we know every day that the trailer tracker checks in. And say I need to track it to put it into active track mode and stay there. I'm going to select by event. I'm going to select the event type, which is what I want to do is enable recovery mode. Once enable recovery mode is selected, the event that is going to cause it to turn on is a scheduled check-in. So I'm going to click scheduled check-in here. So the command that's going to happen when the event type scheduled check-in happens on the device every 24 hours, it's going to say, hey, now we're going to activate this command type. We're just going to do it once and then press add. And it says this command is successfully scheduled. So now what's going to happen is when the event type scheduled check-in happens, the command type enable recovery mode is going to happen, and this is going to make the trailer tracker act exactly like the Razor tracker. So you're going to get anytime the device wiggles, moves, vibrates, it's going to turn on. It's going to start doing vehicle and motion alerts. You can start actively sending commands to it, and so forth. And that's how you set that. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I don't want my device to go into active track mode. So delete schedule successfully. And we're going to go down here to alerts. This is where you're going to set up all kinds of alerts for your devices. This right here is just showing outstanding alerts, which outstanding alerts aren't really anything. They're just whatever the device has reported in your account most recently. So I've got this device. This device right here is actually sitting next to me, which is just a device I was playing with on a battery. My last device that checked in was the XP Turbo. So we're going to go to alert notifications. And this is where you'd set up the notifications to go to your phone or your email. And so each one of these devices kind of already has one, but we're going to go over it anyways. We're going to start a new one. Go to add. We're going to type in our information up here, cj@razortracker.com. Alert title. We're just going to say alerts. This can be anything for 2018 Razor. Add our phone number. 7045440. We need to select your cell phone carrier, so whoever provides your cell service, you want to select them. Unit type, and we're going to go miles per hour. It doesn't really matter on that. So this is a specific to this device, and what we're going to go down here is we're going to scroll down and we're going to pick a device that can take these alerts, and we're going to say we'll go with this device right here. Okay. Once we select it, we need to bring it over to this vehicle list with this arrow key. Once you've done that, you'll notice a bunch of options pop up here. So now, typically, I just like to go with vehicle in motion because you only get that alert every 15 minutes that the vehicle has traveled at least a quarter of a mile or, well, a tenth of a mile in 15 minutes time frame, or the device is going to wait for at least 15 minutes. So I know that if it's stolen and I get this vehicle is moving alert, I know for sure that it is stolen and that it is moving. But you can select any of these alerts that you like. A lot of people, if they're going real conservative on it, I just tell them select them all. And if there's one alert that you're getting that is not right, or is you're just getting a lot of them, just to unselect it and go from there. So that's how you do it. We would select all these. Once they're selected, we're going to click the vehicle and we're going to say add. And what that's going to do is now at any of these alerts, we're going to get a text message and an email with any of those alerts that go off. and you can see that it just added it. So notification created successfully. We're going to go down to devices here, and this is going to show you the devices that are in this account. And so, like you said, there's these 4 devices right here. It's going to show you a little bit of information about the account name that it's in. So this one's in CJ, CJ at razortracker.com. This one's in CJStevens3 at Cox.net, and these 2 that we can see on the screen already are in the same account. You can see active airtime and active termination dates on these. You can go to admin portal, and so if you were wanting to set geozones, this is where you would actually start setting your geozones, and this is a little different. You would click on locations right here. So once you're clicked on locations, you set up a geozone from here, and we'll show you that real quick. We'll go to add. We want to go with a geozone. We're going to call this my house. We have 1 location, and what it's going to want you to do is the zone name is also, I'm going to put my house as well. And I'm actually going to type in my address, 8635 East 169th Street South, Bixby, Oklahoma 74008. And it's going to pop up this little box, and I'm going to click it, and it drops a pin on there. What you can do is turn it to a rectangle or a circle, but this is a radius, and this is a 1 mile radius. 1 mile is way too big. You want to be notified before then. I found that if you type in 0.03, that gives you a pretty decent little circle around your house that's usually big enough to not get false alerts. So once you've got that circle in there, you can go over here to submit. And so what you've done is this geozone has been successfully submitted. What you've done is you've created a geozone. Now you haven't assigned that geozone to any particular device, and we would do that back up here in our vehicles list, and to assign this geozone that we just created, my house, we would have to assign that to a device. So you can assign it to any device. So we're going to go back to my vehicle list. I'm going to wait for it to load here. Okay, we're going to click over here to details. Alright, so now we've got all of our vehicles listed that are in this account, and I'm going to put that geozone on this device down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the side and go to its details. Okay, so once we're in the details, I'm going to click locations. And I'm going to assign this tracking device that geozone by clicking assign. And then it's going to want me to drop down this menu here. I'm going to click it, and I see my house right there. So once I've clicked it, it puts it on the map. I'm going to tell it my email address, my phone number, and what network I'm on. Okay, so now this is where you would click what kind of alert you want it to be notified, whether the vehicle goes into the geozone or it exits the geozone, or both. And I usually always do both. So once I'm here, the tricky part here is before you press submit, you need to make sure that that device is awake, that somebody has been out there within the last 15 minutes and either shook the vehicle, started the motor on it, or whatever the case. Since these devices can go into sleep mode, you just have to make sure the device is awake in order for it to download that information. So once you know that the device is awake, you can press submit. And this particular device is awake, so it says geofence updated successfully. And now there's a geofence on that device. So this is a little different than the previous system where you kind of had a small window to set that geofence. This makes it a little quicker, knowing that the location can already be set, and then you can queue up the submit feature with proper time. So that's just a quick overview of this new portal. Shoot us an email, give us your thoughts, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys.